All right, welcome to Back to School Night. My name is Jennifer Margraf. This is Geometry Honors. I'm so sorry I cannot be there with you tonight, but I've recorded my presentation that you would have seen if I would have been there. So just a little bit of a get to know me while people are still filtering in. Here are a list of statements, and there are 3 of them are false. See if you can figure out which 3. Play field hockey in college. Come from a family of 8. Husband and I were in 6th grade band together. My family used to have a pet rooster named Fluffy. I actually majored in English. I was in gymnastics until the age of 9, and I have won a food eating contest. So 3 of them are false. See if you can figure out which 3. All right, the first one is field hockey in college. I did not play field hockey in college. I do not have coordination, but I did run cross-country track in both high school and college. Next, the false one is majored in English. This is false. I'm a diehard mathematician. I majored in mathematics and I love math. And then last, gymnastics until the age of 9. Never did gymnastics. Again, no coordination. I just do this sport that requires one foot in front of the other a little faster than walking. So these other things, I do come from a family of 8 in total. I'm the 3rd of 6 kids. My husband and I were indeed in 6th grade band together. He played flute, I played clarinet. It was a wonderful time. My family did used to have a pet rooster named Fluffy. He was white and fluffy. And when you picked him up and pet him, he would actually coo. And then I did win a food eating contest. So this was at church camp. I was the first to eat a box of Swiss cake rolls, an entire box of it. All right, so hopefully we have most people here by now. So here's just a little bit more about me. Again, I'm Jennifer Margraf. I'm originally from Central Ohio. My entire family's there. My in-laws are there. It's what I consider home. I've been here probably about 7 years though. I attended Liberty University. It's over in Lynchburg, Virginia. And I got my undergrad in mathematics there, and then my graduate degree in secondary education. And I love math. And here's a picture of me with my son, Granger. This is the picture I used last year for back to school night, and he is much bigger now. So here's an updated picture. I'm so big, almost a year and a half. All right, so recommended course prerequisites. I like to talk about this just to make sure students are placed in the proper class, so that way if they accidentally got signed up for the wrong class, we can get them in the right one. So every year teachers make a recommendation about what class the student should take next year, and the recommendations for being in Geometry Honors is that the student was in Algebra Honors and had a B- or higher for their final grade, and got a 4.60 or higher in the Algebra and SLO. Now, if a student was in Algebra regular, we don't normally recommend they make the jump from regular to geometry or to honors because they are missing content that was taught in honors. But if they have a really good work ethic, the teacher recommends it, and they had a very high A in Algebra 1, I have had students be successful with that transition there. Now, these are just the recommendations that we have found over the years. Students that meet these requirements are typically successful in Geometry Honors. Students that don't meet these requirements typically struggle and end up dropping back to regular. And so I just want to make sure that everyone is placed in the class that they can be most successful in. So if at some point in time during the year you find that your child's really struggling, they've come and they've gotten help and they're just really struggling with the intensity of the class or the workload of it, please send me an email, send the counselor an email. We can get them placed into Geometry Regular where it's going to be an easier load for them to handle with all their other classes. I would love for all of my students to stay here, but I also would love for every student to have a successful year, especially those that this is their first year of high school. And every year I have students that they just bite off more than they can chew, and they don't realize it until they're in the thick of it. And I don't want those students to be sitting in here and struggling half the year, and then they finally make the transition to regular. And not only do they have a poor grade going with them, but they also have a poor understanding because they were struggling in here. So if you feel that this change needs to be made, just send me an email at any point in time. Let me know. We can get in contact with the counselor and get that change made. Ideally, we can all do it, but I would really like for the students to have a successful year. So just keep that in mind, but hopefully with some extra help, we can get them back on par. But if it still seems to be too much, just let me know, we can talk about that. All right, so the course content for geometry. The first quarter is a lot of new vocabulary, a lot of new terms, parallel perpendicular lines, and a little bit with triangles. The county did change the pacing. So Unit 7, I think it is, comes after Unit 3, I believe. Still the same content, just a little bit of a different order. So that properties of triangles might come a little bit earlier, but we'll see how the timing works out. And then, so we have triangles more in second quarter, and then the third quarter, polygons and right triangles and circles. And then our fourth quarter, we're wrapping up the material. We've got surface area volume, transformation instructions, and preparing for the SQL, which seems to be a little bit earlier this year, so things might change as we get close to the date. But this is the general idea, and then after SQLs, we continue to keep learning with some honors topics. So the grading breakdown, it's 10% homework and then 90% for everything else, so that's our quizzes and our tests. And then our final grade for the whole year is calculated based on the 4 quarters and the final exam grade, so each one's worth 20%. So just like all math classes, there's homework given every single day. Here we give them an assignment sheet, usually on a colored piece of paper, which has the general guidelines or the general pacing for that unit, and that's where they list individual homework assignments. So individual homework grades will be on that sheet. Stamp means a perfect score. And then at the end of the unit, I collect that and total it up, and that one unit homework grade is what goes on SIS. So if you want to know if they're doing their individual homework, ask to see their assignment sheet, and then that total will go on SIS. Homework is for the most part graded upon completion. They must always attempt every problem and show work to get credit for it, and late homework will be accepted up to 2 days late for late credit. Of course, homework is essential for them to be successful. I recommend they do it the night that it's assigned so they can come ask me questions on that day in between. So just some resources. Blackboard has everything, blank copies of what we get in class as well as the key to the notes. And I also record the lessons and post that up on YouTube, and the link is on Blackboard. We do have a textbook that we use in class and sometimes for homework. They have one that they've been given to take home, but the county has purchased MathSpace, which has an ebook with instruction as well as some good practice problems for them to do. And then I just had students for the year say that they have gotten help from Khan Academy, so I've included that as well. Okay, extra help. So I highly recommend that students come see me right away if they're having difficulties. Math builds upon itself, so we don't want to wait and delay to get that help that we need. I'm available most days after school, usually until 3:30, but my availability changes from week to week, so they should just check with me or check with the whiteboard at the back of the classroom for individual availability. And then once the school year gets a little more underway, there will be free peer tutoring after school Thursdays in Quad 10D. And then the church across the street, Wednesday nights, has free tutors available as well from 6:45 to 8. And then if you're looking to hire a tutor, I can give you a list of recommended tutors as well. All right, so next up we have makeup work. If a student's absent on just a normal notes day, they can get the notes from a friend, from Blackboard, or watch the video on YouTube. But if they're absent on a review day, we don't learn anything new, and the key is posted on Blackboard, so they'll be expected to take the test as scheduled. If they're absent on a quiz or test day, they'll just make that up in the next class that I see them, but they will be responsible for the material that they missed while making that up. So again, just check Blackboard or YouTube or get it from a friend. If they're able to make up that assessment before class, they can just send me an email, and that way they don't have to miss any instruction. Oh, I think I'm going to slide there. Okay, retakes. So this is geometry honors. We really should not be needing a retake very often. If so, I'm probably going to be talking to the student about placement in class. But sometimes it is necessary. So in the event that they need a retake as a safety net, they will do test corrections, come in and check them, and fill out a retake contract, which will include the deadlines of when the corrections are due and when they can do the retake. The retake is a completely different test. It's half the length, so done in half the time, and it has to be done within 2 weeks of the test being returned. Again, that deadline will be on the contract. Retakes are for testing, not quizzes, but keep in mind that the practice SQL exam and the final exam are not retakeable. And then the highest score will be the one recorded in the grade book. And once once again, here's my contact information. Thank you so much for coming out, and best of luck for the rest of the night.